Hello, I hope you are well and good, and you are ready for the today's lesson. We are going to learn while loop, and scope. Hopefully, if we have enough time, I will try to cover all of those topics. But let's start by reviewing previous lesson. Let me open the IntelliJ. Yes. One of the most important topic, methods, and we are going to need it. We will need it in our project. But don't worry, at first it may seem complex, but in time you will get used to it, and you will be able to use it in your application or project. Let's remember why we create methods. First, if you want to do the same thing again and again, you can create a method for it. If you are planning to do it only once, still you may create a method. Why, you will ask, of course. Because, for example, when you create method and write all the codes under that line, you can call a method in a single line. All that codes will be under that line. There will be somewhere else. And understanding the application will be much easier for everybody. Let's see, for example, here. It's very easy method. Actually, we could write the code here. But let's say, imagine that there are methods or pages here under this method. Instead of writing all of it here, if you can choose a correct answer, correct name for the method, and if your reader, whoever reads your code, can understand its function by its name, just seeing that line will explain a lot of things to the reader. And if the reader get curious, you can, of course, check the methods inside. So, but if you are repeating something again and again, you have to, I can say that, you have to write a method for it. Once you finished writing the method, you can use it as many times as you want, whenever you need it. Just you need to call it from wherever it is, and it will work like magic. We have tried to create a few methods, and we tried to call them from other classes. For example, how do we call a method from other class? If the method is static, and until now we have created all the methods, we have created static methods. So by writing the name of the class dot and name of the method will be enough to call it, and can use it wherever you want. We have also created our own substring method, and actually I believe this method is advanced version of the original substring method. But if you have a pre-made method developed by Java, instead of creating your own method, using that method is easier, of course. And then we have tried to solve a few questions. I hope I could be able to explain why creating method is so important for every coder. It is important for developers, and at the same time, it's very important for testers too. So let's continue from the slide. Oh yes, there's a short review here and explaining what a method is, how do we call method. Yes, I have tried to explain the method with a few words. I hope it is enough. Method should be created inside of the class. Yes, that's correct. but still it should be outside of all other methods. Don't forget that when you are creating a method, you cannot create it inside of another method. And Java will contain with red line under it, and you will be able to understand, yes, I cannot create it here. Yes, creating a method is not enough. Yes, let's say you have a machine, but you are not using it. There's a robot there, but still it is in the storage room. It won't work. You have to put it in the product line. Methods are like that. If you want to use it, you have to call it. Otherwise, it won't work. How do we call the method? If we are in the same method, same class with the method, just writing the method names is enough. But if it is in other class, you may need to use class name for static methods. Yes, when we call a method, Java first checks if there are same named method there. And arguments, blah, blah, it goes on that way. A second, please. I want to check something before everything. Okay. Okay, we are here. Sorry. And yes, let's continue. Yes, and we have tried to solve a few questions. Let me check if I missed anything. Oh yes, don't worry about that. We have reviewed what we have learned so far. So let's start with method overloading. Let me say a few things. When you're planning to overload a method, it means using same named method for different purposes. For example, we have used to uppercase and it worked perfectly fine. But you can also change the name language rules, right? When you write local inside of it and enter the country name, the method can behave differently according to what you enter inside of the brackets. It means you are using overloading function of the Java. Same method, but different function. Same name and different function. It is called overloading. How it is done? Just you need to change something in brackets. If you change it, it will, of course, method should have that function. If it has, it will act differently. For example, what about the substring? When you use substring, if you enter only one letter there, it will act like this. Let's say Java and the index structures 0, 1, 2, and 3. If I use substring 1 begin index, it will start from 1 and it will print everything. Okay. Oh, I didn't open it, so it is not going to the next page. And let's try to solve a question about that. A second, please. Okay, we are here. Let me create today's package, and I think it's day 15. Day 15, overloading. We will also learn how to use while loop. And that's all. The first class will be about overloading. CO1. And let's enter a few methods here. We actually used overloading, and I will try to explain how we did use it. Let's create a string here. String, my favorite string, str, Java is the best. So let's try to use substring methods. So I want to see the result of the code, str substring. As you can see, we have two methods. Same name it, two methods. A second, please. When we have same name two methods, it means it is overloading. And this same method, according to what you enter between brackets, will function differently. It is same method, but the functionality will be different. Of course, Java could create them with different names, but we prefer using same name for similar functions, and Java does that too. That's the functions, and I hope you remember them, are very similar. So you can change the function by changing what you enter between brackets. If you enter only one number, let's write this one here. Java is the best. And I will write if index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That much is enough. Single number means it will start from 1 and it will print everything after that. And we shall see Java is the best. This time, let's check the result, then I will write something else. In the second time, I will change what I enter here. And as you can see, it is Java is the best. This time, let's use something else. So same method, str.substring. Now I will enter two integers. It doesn't matter which one you choose. It is all about what you enter. Don't worry, you do not need to choose the right one. I will choose this one with only one index variable, but I will enter two index numbers. So let's see what happens. Again, I will use 1 for the first one, and the second number will be 4. So let's see what will happen in this situation. It means take a part of the string starting from index 1 and ending index is 4. Starting from index 1 again, but just before the second number, we will end everything. There should be Java there. In the second one, second line, as you can see, we can see Java here. The methods names are same. The only difference is what we enter between normal brackets. Here, when we change what we enter, what we send to the method, it will function differently. Same method, different functions, overloading. We overload the method. Well, we give out of different responsibilities to same method, overloading. There's another one, and sometimes you may mix them. So I'm trying to create a reminding point here. We overload method. If you overload method with different responsibilities, it is called overloading. It's very logical. So I think we got what it means. Let's create our own overloading method. In the second class, and let's try to understand how overload works. CO2 overloading. Okay, we have it. Main method is coming. So we have a main method, and right now I want to create my overloading. How can we create overloading? We need a method, right? Let's create a method. How do we create method? It should be between class curly brackets and outside of the other methods curly brackets. If this is the case, we should start from here. The next step, public static comes from me. Public static, and you should write a return type. If you want to return a number, you should write something here. But this time we are not going to return anything. I just want to create a simple method. If we write something, I will just print it. If you are planning to print the result, void return type void is the best option for you. It will return nothing. It will just print the result. And the name of the method, multiplication. Okay, we have the name. From now on, to create it, I will use same name. So we have method, and I want to calculate result of two numbers. If you are planning to receive two numbers in your method, you should create two gates. Integer, first number, or let's see, oh yes, number 1, and integer number 2. I have created two numbers, and let's try to see the result. So number 1 times number 2. Let's write an explaining here so we can understand what's happening. The result of two numbers. After writing this explaining, the result will appear here as a number. So we have created a method. So what would happen if there were three numbers? Let's say user wants to calculate the result of three numbers. If that's the case, our multiplication method should have that option too. I will use same number, but by changing the number of numbers, I will create a totally different method. It is same name. It seems like I'm creating a new method, but still I will use same name, but different gates, I can say that. A second. Yes, let's create it. Public static comes from me. Return type should be same. And this time I will use three numbers. Integer number 1, comma, integer number 2. When I create it like this, as you can see, Java is complaining. It is saying, hey, this is already defined somewhere. You do not need to write it again. Same name, same number of numbers. If I add another one, integer number 3, here it is not complaining anymore. Don't worry about this green line. It is all about the name. So I can do whatever I want here. The result of 3 numbers will be calculated here. Number 1 times number 2 times number 3. I do not need to write it in brackets. Multiplication has a priority. It will be numbered. The result of the numbers will be calculated before this action plus action. So don't worry about that. Okay. Let's see how it works. I will call this one multiplication. Oh, let me show you one more thing. As you can see, when I call the method, Java gave me two options. The first one accepts two numbers. Second one can calculate three different numbers at the same time, and both of them will return nothing. They are planned to write something. They will print the result. First, I will use this one. Okay, I just need to enter the numbers account between them. I will call same method. This time I will use three numbers. Here, both of them will call different methods. This is a result of this one. And if you multiply three numbers, this will be shown for you. And the results are correct when I check them. So according to the number of numbers or parameters, it's an important part, number of parameters should be different to create overloading. But we have other options too. Number of parameters can be same, but there is another thing here. Let me show it to you. I will create another one, public static void multiplication. And this time, instead of integer data type, I will use double number 1, double number 2. And the result will be very same. So the result of two double numbers. Number 1 times number 2. Okay, so let me close this part. Let's try to understand what will happen right now. Okay. This is the first one, this is the second one, this is the third one. All better. When I enter 5 and 6, it can be executed here, but it can be also executed here. At the same time, 5 is a double 2. when you add dot 0 there, it can use this gate too. This method can accept it, but it will be still calculated in this method. To use this method, we should enter a double variable. Let's, as you can see, double of two numbers is here. It didn't use double one. And this time, I will use same name. Oh, let me show you again. Here, if you want, you can use also double variables, as you can see in this method. There's two will be executed only for integer numbers, but for this one, you may enter two double variables. Let's see. First number will be, oh, I should use dot, comma. Here, this time I have used double numbers. Here, it could be able to calculate the result of two double numbers. And let's change this to, that's better, I think. Okay, let me create an integer and double method. I will do the same thing, but one dot type will be integer and one will be double. Public static void multiplication. Oh, double. You can write anything here. The names are not important. I will change it first number for you to understand. And the second one will be integer, second number. And let's calculate the results. So the result of one double and one integer plus number, first number times second number. So I have created another method with the same name, and I am, as you can see, overloading this method. Let's use it. Oh, let me show it again. We have another option here, double and integer. I will enter, first one should be a double, and second one will be an integer like this. Let's run it again. Here it is, it could be able to calculate it. What happens if I change the places? The last one of asking first time should be a double, second one should be an integer. Let's change their places. Public static void integer number 1, integer number 2. Oh, it is complaining because it's the same with this one. I was planning to do second one a double. Okay, there are same data types, double and integer. Just changing their places is enough to create an overloading, as you can see. So we should enter parameters in right order. If you don't, you may call different function of same method. So the result of one integer and one double. I have changed their places, and I have forgotten to calculate the result. Number 1 times number 2. Let's call this one. And this time I will show you a different feature of overloading. And it doesn't matter which one I choose. The first one should be integer, second one will be a double. Here it is. I have forgotten to put something there. Okay. Let's put the symbol. Will be printed like this. So we did it. I have created a lot of different features here. Changing the numbers and the data types is enough to create a new overloading method. How will we decide which one will be executed? We have created a lot of different methods here. And try to understand how can we decide. When we write the data types correctly, it will just go to the proper method, which method matches to variables. But sometimes you won't have enough methods. For example, I will disable this too. Or without disabling, let me explain how it works. When I use this one, if there wasn't double, let me cancel this one. Now it doesn't have, we don't have a double option. Oh, I'm sorry. All right. I will cancel this integer. And Java is complaining because we are trying to execute a wrong one. Java couldn't be able to find right one here. If I try to run it, it couldn't be able to execute it. Okay. Oh, it's a very hard task. So as you can see, you should create them with care. When I open it, we can use it again because these numbers we'll use here. So the order is important. Number of numbers is actually number of parameters is important. And there is one more thing. Let's see it from the slide. And we will continue from there. No, this is not the one. Oh, we got this part. Here we have a lot of functions. It is accepting all different functions. For example, when you try to multiply two integer, how will understand which one will be used? Of course, this one will be used. Integer number. If you use integer and double, let's see, do we have integer and double? No, we don't have any integer and double, as you can see. If you don't have integer and double, the system will check. It says you cannot use a method, but actually you can, because we can outcast an integer to double automatically. This first number in this kind of situations will act like a double number, and it will be calculated according to this method. Here it says the first one integer and double. There's no one, no integer and double method which accept integer and double. So it will be calculated by using this one. But this is the hard part. Java has to do another work. Java has to cast this integer to double to use this method. Java always tries to use easiest one. When you use three numbers like this one, double, 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 all of them are integers, but still the result will be calculated according to this one. So it should work. Let me check something before everything. I will cancel this integer, and I will try something. Multiplication, it doesn't matter which one I choose. 5 and 4. Okay, did not work. So don't forget that Java always tries to use the easiest one. It doesn't like wasting time or effort. How can we decide which one will be used? Let's write it to the class here. First, Java will check the name. Let's write the explain here, sorry. When we call a method, Java first will check the name. In a class, there cannot be same named and same named method with same parameters. I still remember when I tried to create same named method with same parameters, Java get very angry with us with its red line. How do Java decide which method to run? First, it will check the name. Name will be checked. I mean, you write this name and it will check if the class, and you do not know yet, but there are parent classes too. But let's focus on this part of the lesson. Java will check if there is a same named method, and we have a lot of them. So how will it understand which one to use? Yes, we have a lot of different same named methods here. Second, checks parameter numbers, number of parameters, number of numbers here, but you may enter string too, but we have used numbers here, so I choose number here. Checks the number of parameters. You know, when we enter this one, we have to integer here into this one will be eliminated because it has 3 parameters, and we have 4 overloaded method here if we have used 2 parameters. Then as third option, it will check the data types. Integer, it will check, oh, we have one here, perfect. And we can execute this code without any problem. It will be able to execute this code. Third, sometimes Java cannot find, or we do not use right data types. For example, when you use an integer, but method can only accept the double data type, Java can do automatic casting. It will change the number you entered as a parameter, it's an integer, it can cast it to a double data automatically for minimum casting. Java will check all of them, and with minimum casting, the method with minimum casting will be executed. First, the name will be checked, then the number of parameters, then the data types. If it cannot still find the proper method to run this method call, it will check the last option, the last resort, minimum casting. Yes, there are 2 ways to create an overloading. The first one, you can change the number of parameters. Here, for example, we have 2 numbers. You can use 3 numbers. It will create another overloading. The second one, you can also change the data types. There are 2 numbers here, 2 parameters for the both methods. But here, the first one is using double, and the second one is using integer. In this kind of situations, changing the data type is enough, as you can see. It will create an overloading. Also, there's another option. If the first one is double and the second one is integer, when you change the data types places, it also works. Let's say double integer, and you want to create another overloading. Doubling, it was over double, first one was double, change the places and make the second one double, first one will be integer. This will also create an overloading for the method, and you can write whatever you want inside of the method. Yes. How do Java decide if there are L2 methods to run? One of them should be executed. Java cannot execute all of them. How does it decide? First, the method name. Second, if there are more than one same named method in the class, it will check the number of parameters. And arguments, of course. If they are not 100% match, if there are 100% match, it will directly use it. It is the easiest one. If it cannot find 100% compatible method, it will check the other methods. And if there are a lot of methods, it will use the method with less casting, the easier one. To run this method, if it needs to change 2 data types, it will say let's use the easier one. Method name, number of parameters, and data types, and minimum casting. There are 4 steps: method name, number of parameters, data types, and minimum casting. If you can remember 4 steps, you'll be able to solve all the questions. And we will have a few questions about this topic, but I'm not sure when. Okay, this is a new topic. Let's have our 10 minutes break time, 11 minutes break time, and we will continue. Thank you very much. Okay, let's continue. Where were we? We were just talking about overloading methods, and we have completed that part. And now the topic was while loop. And now topic is while loop. You know, we have learned for loop until now, and how it was working. Let's check that. For the for loop, we need a starting number. You can say I equals to 1, or you can create any number to start from it. The second part, condition. As long as I is smaller than 10, continue. I equals to 1. And as long as smaller than 1, continue executing the same loop, same body. Third one, increment or decrement. Increase the value of I by 1. That's how we create the for loop. And we have a few different kinds of loops. I will try to explain what is the main difference between them, and when we should decide which one we use according to the question. If we expect to execute a loop for a certain times, certain number, you should use for I loop. This is for I loop. You do not need to call for I loop. You can say for loop. Let me call it like that. Both of them same. For loop. The second one is while. Yes, this is how we create for I loop, normal loop. Initial value, starting number. You need to create an integer like this, and condition. When this part becomes false, it will end. Increase decrement. You should decide one of it. You do not need to increase it one by one. You can set other increments too, but for now, let's focus on this part. Yes, we need similar information for while loop too. But in the while loop, Java does not write them automatically. We have to write them manually. If you want to create a while loop, just writing while and the condition is enough. This is the condition. When you do it, it will be created. And as long as this condition is true, it will be executed infinitely. When it becomes false, the condition will stop. Let's see. This is the while loop, okay? You need to set a starting number before the while loop if you want to use it that similar way. And the condition should be written between brackets. And as you can see, we should also increase the value or decrease it in the while loop. If yes, if you write the increment or decrement before the loop, it won't be used. The increment should be inside of the loop. And when you set the number like this, and if the condition is false for the beginning number, starting number, it won't execute the body. I'm saying that because we have another type of loop, and it is this checking condition first is important here, and the other type loop is a little different. In the while loop, before executing the body, condition is checked. Don't forget that. If S was 100, this whatever you write in this body won't be executed. Because at first sight, it will be false. 100 is not smaller than 100, but it will not be executed. By body, I mean whatever you write between normal, between curly brackets. How it works? You write S equals to 10, and it will come. Test condition. In the while loop, we have the condition S should be smaller than 100. If condition is true, it will check, S is 1, S is 10, sorry. It will check the condition. It is true. And let's say it will print hello world. It will print this. And let's increase the S++ value of S by 1. It was 10, now it became 11. And again, it will check the condition again. It will print it. It will increase the value. This loop will be executed approximately 89 times. I'm not sure. When this condition becomes false, loop will be terminated. And as you can see, if I were you, I would be asking that question. It is very same with the for while loop, starting number, increment, and the condition. Why do I need to use while loop instead of for loop? Don't worry, we will come there too. Yes, this is the main reason. If you are not sure how many times you need to execute a loop, you have to use while loop. Let me say it one more time. In the for loop, you have to set the numbers. But if you are not sure how many times a code will be executed, you should use a while loop instead of for loop. If it is not clear how many times a loop will be executed, this is the critical line here. In this kind of situations, we should use while loop. Of course, it's very hard to understand from this text. If it was that easy, we wouldn't be here. Let's try to understand it by solving a question. Let's go back to the project and start creating another class, CO3, while loop. Okay, first we will use similar logic. I will do the same thing by using for while loop and while loop. The question is, print all two-digit numbers Okay, print all two-digit numbers. That's our task. To write all the digit numbers, we need to start from 10. Starting number will be 10. Ending number, as long as the number is smaller than 100, we should write it. Condition, number should be smaller than 100. And each time it asks us to print all of them, we need to increase value by 1. Increase value by 1. Okay, doing this with for loop is very easy for I. Of course, first we need to create the main loop for I. Starting number is 10. As long as it's more than 100, I will continue, and each time I want to increase value by 1. I just need to print the value of I. So I, let's add a space after it. It will print 10 and a space, 11 space. And to print it side by side, we should delete this part. Okay, there's no place for the error here. We should be able to print all of them. And without any problem, we did it. Now I will try to do the same thing by using for loop. Same question by while loop. By using while loop. It's very same. You know, when we use while loop, it's very easy to create it while the condition should be here. Condition is, let's use different number. I will use A this time. Condition is I should be smaller than 100. But we haven't created it. Java couldn't be able to find any variable, name it A. Let's create it. A equals to 10, and it will be integer. This is the initializing point. Starting number is 10. And as long as it is smaller than 100, the loop will continue. What I'm trying to do, I want to print the value of A plus a space. After writing the value in the loop, I will increase the value of A by 1. Starting number, this part is the condition. Increment. It is the same thing as you can see. And it should work. Same thing should happen right now. It will start from 1. As long as it is smaller than 100, it will continue. It will print the value, then increase it. It will print 10, then it will make it 11. It will print 11, then it will make it 12. And each time, it will check the condition. Let's run it. Oh, I'm sorry, I did a mistake here. We did not here. I should delete this ln. And I should put a spirit of the print name. Salt. Okay, let's run it now. Here, exactly the same thing. It went until the 99. I would love to ask if you have any question, but I think you do not have. Do you? Do you have any question for me? Let me check. No, nothing. Okay, let's try to solve another question. So we will be able to understand the biggest difference between while loop and for loop. Now from here, for this question, we can use both of them. Sometimes there will be cases that you won't be able to use one of them. And let's try to touch that kind of topic. I will create another class while CO3 4. Let me ask you a question. You know, what was the biggest difference? If you do not know how many times you need to execute the body. If we do not decide or do not know how many times we need to run the body, we should use while loop. After that, let's write the question. Take numbers from user and calculate some of those numbers. If user presses 0, stop taking numbers from user. Then print how many numbers user entered, and also print the sum of numbers. What we are going to do, we need to take numbers from user, and when user presses 0, we will stop this loop. If I want to do this by using for while loop, what will be the condition? You cannot use any condition here because we do not know how many times a user will add a number. Yes, we can add 1 million there, and we know that user won't enter 1 million numbers there, but it is not very useful, you know, when you want to create a big application. So we should use something else. Okay, let's start writing. First, I will start with main method. We are planning to take numbers from user, so we will need scanner, then new scanner system. Let's inform the user. Okay, or I will inform user in the loop because each time I will ask, please enter a number. And in the second loop, I will ask again, please enter a number. And this will repeat itself. As long as user does not press 0, this loop will continue repeating itself. But I need a scanner to take variable from user, value from user. What do I need from user? First, I need to create an integer to store whatever user enters. Integer entered number. At first, I can make it anything. For now, I will make it 1. And I will explain why I did not make it 0. Well, then I need a counter because I need to count how many numbers user entered. Integer counter. It will start from 0, right? Each time when user enters a number, I will increase the value of counter. And another one. I need a place to calculate sum of those numbers. Integer sum of numbers. And again, it will be 0 at first. Okay. What will be the condition? I will create while loop. We know that because we do not know how many times user will enter a number. What should be the condition? When the application stops, if user enters 0, loop will stop, right? So I should write that condition here. As long as entered number is not 0, loop will continue. As long as entered number is not 0, loop will continue. How do I write that? Entered number not equals 0. As long as it is not 0, loop will continue. What will happen in the loop? In the loop, I mean in the loop means the repeated part. We will ask user to enter a value. Again, for each loop, we will ask user. So, please enter a value to calculate sum of it. To stop, press 0. To stop, please press 0. did not like. Oh, then that should be okay. We know we are trying to calculate the sum of numbers. So we are asking for a number here. When user enters 0, press 0, the system will stop. And we have calculated that part here. The condition is here. Let's take the number. Entered number will be taken from user. Sorry. Scan. What next thing? We done it. When user enters a number, I need to increase the counter, right? But what if user entered 0? Should I increase the counter? No. If user enters a number other than 0, I should increase the number. If entered number is not 0, I will increase the counter. Plus plus. Then if it is not 0, we need to add that number to sum of numbers. Sum of numbers equals to sum of numbers plus entered number. This is all I need to do. We can write it like this too. Sum of numbers, entered number. Those things do the same thing, but usually it is harder to understand this part. But it is more professional. You should prefer writing it like this. But to make it simple, I will write it like this. The same thing. We done it. That's all. And after the loop, after everything has ended, we should print the result. So number of numbers, it will be the counter. Start sum of numbers, it will be the sum of numbers. That's it. That's all. We do not need to do anything else. This will function like magic. Let's run it. If it does not work, sometimes it happens. We will try to fix the problem. Please enter a value 10, 12, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Let's press 0 now. Oh, it says you have entered 9 numbers, and the sum of those numbers is 450. 30. Let's start from here. 117. Oh, it's similar to that number. It's correct. Let's count the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, it's working. Let me explain what we have done here one more time. So we were planning to use while loop from starting because we do not know how many numbers user may enter. In this kind of situations, if you don't know how many times you need to execute the body, you should use a while loop. There are other options, but for now we only know while loop, so let's focus on it. What do we need for this application? We will use a number. User will enter a number, and I need to save it somewhere. I need a counter to count how many numbers user entered. And of course, I need a box to calculate sum of the numbers. Normally, I always use 0 to start the number, but this time I have used 1 instead of 0. Why? Let me explain that part. It doesn't matter which number you entered here, as long as it is not 0. Because if I entered 0 here, while loop checks the condition first. And as you can see, it will execute the code as long as entered number is not 0. if we entered 0 here, while loop wouldn't execute the code here because from the beginning, the condition will be false and the code won't be executed. Direct, it will pass to here. Let's try that. I will make it 0 and let's see what happens. Always we have used it like this. We have assigned 0 to it and voila. No loop, it did not ask us to enter a border here. If I change it, because the condition is false, when I change it, condition won't be false, and the loop will be executed. And at the first side, it will change the entered number. It doesn't matter what number you have used here. As long as it is not 0, it will work. I entered a different number than 0 because from 0. Because if it was 0, while loop condition would be 0 and false from the beginning. At the beginning, and it wouldn't be executed. And because of that, we need to enter a number. As long as it is not 0, it will work. Here, I think this is a good explaining, and we have used for while loop. Of course, you can solve this question by using for while loop too. As long as you enter a great number from the condition, it will work, but it won't be correct 100% because if user enters more number than your condition, the system won't work. Let me check something, sorry. Okay. Let's go back to the slide and see what is there for us. Yes, for example, if you want a password from user, we need to ask again and again. As long as user enters wrong password, we will continue asking the password. And we do not know how many times user will attempt to enter that password until user finds the right one. Normally, it is not very advised to use this kind of password asking, but don't worry about that for now. We will focus on the logic. In this kind of situations, you may use for while. And this was this question we have solved right now. If you want to calculate sum of numbers, and if you do not know how many numbers user will enter, you should use while. And the condition should be whatever user enters, as long as it is not 0, loop will continue. You can create that kind of logic to solve these questions. This question. Okay, another one. Let's close it and try to write another code. That was the question and the solution, so I closed it. CO5 while loop. We have another question here. Take numbers from user, and when sum of these numbers becomes 100 or more, stop the loop. and print number of numbers and sum of numbers. It's very similar to the previous one. We will create a system, and here user will enter 400 and 500, 400 and 100, for example, and the sum will be 500, 100. So loop will stop there and print the number of numbers till here, and the sum of numbers is 500. Starting point, we don't have any start point. We will start from calculating 0, of course. The condition is as long as the result is smaller than 500, loop will continue. The critical point here, we do not know how many numbers user may enter. Yes, you can solve it by using 500, but using for while loop as a condition, you can use 500, but it won't be the right logic here. Last thing, we do not know how many numbers user will enter. User may enter minus numbers too. Yes, so your loop may not work. For while loop, I think. So let's start. What do we need here? First, we need an entered number, right? We need entered. Then we need to calculate sum of numbers. And one more thing, we need to know how many numbers user entered. How many numbers user entered? These variables we will use main method. Then let's create the variables. First, we are planning to take numbers from user scanner. System. Integer, entered number. Again, it can be anything. This time I can make it 0 because the condition is not about entered number. Integer, sum of numbers. Again, at first it was 0. Integer, we need the counter, and it will start from 0. Here, in the previous one, the condition was about entered number. This time, condition is about sum of numbers. As long as the sum of numbers is smaller than 500, it will continue executing the loop. The condition is sum of number should be smaller than 500. While sum of numbers smaller than 500, loop will continue. That part is easy. We have created our for while loop, and we have created necessary variables. Now let's take the number from user. Entered number will be taken from user, and we have the number. Then I should increase the sum of numbers according to the entered number. Sum of numbers will be equal to sum of numbers plus entered number. This one will calculate the sum of all the numbers user enters. Let's increase the counter by 1. Each time user enters a value, the counter will be increased by 1. And when sum of numbers is higher than 500, loop will come here at the beginning. It will check it. Oh, it is false right now. It will say, and it will continue to the next line. And here, let's write. Number of entered numbers, number of entered numbers, counter. sum of entered numbers will be the sum of entered numbers. Very exciting. Now let's run it right now. And I will try to explain what happened here. Oh, we have forgotten to inform user. Yes, we have created a system that takes number from user, but we did not inform user. To inform user, let's write something here. So, please enter a number. And rerun it. Now it works. Actually, it is expecting a number from me, but I cannot see this. I cannot see this text, so it's very confusing. Let's rerun it. Don't worry about this one. Yes, now I can see the text message. I will enter 10, 0, 10, 50, 60. Out of different numbers. I should be very close to the. Oh, where are you from? Oh, here it is. I have entered 11 numbers, and the sum of my numbers is 580. If I enter a very big number, it says number of entered numbers 1, and the sum of numbers is 500,000. Normally, sometimes it may seem like it shouldn't work, but at first, the condition is not about what we enter. The condition is all about sum of numbers. When I enter 500,000, it will check the condition here, but sum of numbers are still 0 here. 0 is smaller than 500. No matter what number I enter, it will work. It will print it. Entered number will be calculated here. It will be 500,000, and it will calculate the sum of number. Now it is sum of number is now 500,000. After increasing the count by 1, it will come here and check the condition again. Now it will be false because 500,000 is not smaller than 500. And it will end the loop. By ending loop, I'm in this part. Starting and ending, you should be able to see starting and ending curly brackets here. When the condition is false, it will continue from here after the loop. It will print the number of numbers and the sum of numbers. We have only entered one number, so it will be exactly what we enter. If I enter 1, 1, 1, 1, I need to enter 500 times, right? And then let's write 500. Oh, I have only entered 34 1. It did not work well, but it's working without any problem. Yes, this is the question. Ask the user for the numbers to be collected out. If the total number total is 500 or exceeds, print the total. We have collected the numbers from user here by using the while loop. Why did we use while loop? Because we do not know how many numbers user may enter. Yes, 11111. There would be a lot of numbers, but perhaps user will enter minus numbers too, negative numbers too. So we do not know how many numbers user will try to calculate here. Okay, it did work. Oh, here it's not print the counter. I mean, if you write this code, you won't be able to understand how many numbers user entered, but it works. Okay, the next question is coming. Password question. Let's use Let's close it. So we won't be able to see. We have 10 minutes. Let's do it right like this. Let me write the question here, and you may try to solve it yourself. CO6 while low. Oh, no. What have I done here? CO6 while low. And main method. Then let's write the question here. The real question here, let me check it. Okay, let me copy it from there. We have the question. Okay, where is it? I know I can find it. It should be somewhere. Here it is. Let me see if it is right. Question asked user for a password from the user. Okay. Print error message for the password that does not meet the following conditions. And ask user to enter a new password. Okay. Repeat this until a password is typed. Print your password has been successfully saved when valid password is typed. And the conditions. Okay, that's better now. When I make it like this, it is easier to understand. The main point here, we do not know how many times user will attempt to enter a password. So we should use while. What is the condition? As long as something is true, loop will continue here. But it's not a number, it's not about number. As long as password is not valid, is not true, loop will continue. As you can see, we are not looking a registered password. User is trying to register here. So it says the first character of the password should be a lowercase, and the last character of the password should be a number, and there's another one. At least there should be 8 characters in the password. Okay, we have added another condition. We are going to take the password from user. Then we will check the conditions. But still, everything should be inside of the loop. As long as password is wrong, how can we decide that? How can we set that? You should use flag. You will write Boolean, and if the password is wrong, Boolean should be false. Or you can set a number. By number, it will be easier for you. At first, you will set a number, and it will be 0. And for the all errors, you will increase that flag by 1. At the end, if the flag's value is 0, it means no error has been occurred in the system. I mean, user could be able to enter a valid password there, and we will save that password. Okay, let's save our time, and we will continue. We will have a 15 minutes break time. Hello back. We are back in the business. So what were we doing? Oh, we will receive a password from user, and we do not know how many times he will try to answer. He will try to enter, and again, if the conditions are not met, we will ask to enter a new password. Yes, we will repeat this process until a valid password is entered. And when everything is right, we will write your password has been successfully saved. What are the conditions? First letter should be a lowercase interesting condition. Last character of password should be a number. Okay. There should be at least 8 characters. You know, first we need to decide if we are going to connect as conditions. You can do it right this. 3 conditions can be checked all the same time, or you can check them one by one. First, you will check the if the first character is lowercase. If it is not, the system will fail without checking the others. When you do it like this, they will be connected. If this is correct, the second one will be checked. If this one is also correct, the third one will be checked. But you know, for example, the first system will check this. If when they are connected, if the first character is not a lowercase, it won't check other conditions and it won't write an error message for them. So I prefer creating unconnected if statements, unconnected conditions. What will we need here? We need to take password from user. It means first we will create scanner. New scanner system. Always I'm doing that. I don't know why. Okay, we have this scan object. Now we need a place to store the password, right? String password. At first, it will have nothing. Then we can create a lot of different things. So let's start. I need a condition. How can I create a condition here? I can create a lot of different conditions, but how? This is the critical point. You are planning to create a while loop, and there should be a condition, right? And let's create a condition named true. If you want to create a boolean, you should be right like this. Boolean is valid. Is password valid? And at first, it should be true because we are planning to use this we are planning to use this condition in the while loop. While is password valid? At first, I made it true because it will enter when Java comes here, it will check this condition. If it is false, loop will fail. As long as it is true, the loop will continue. We can change this condition. Let's write a few things. You will see why we may need to change it. Let's check the first condition. To check it, we need to take it from user, right? So in the loop, please enter your password to be registered. And we need to take it from user by using the scan object. password equals to scan dot next. We do not accept space characters, so we can use next for the password. Okay, now I want to check if the password's first character is a lowercase. If, how do we check lowercase situation? Yes, I need to use ASCII table, which works with the chars. So let's take the first character of password. We can do that. First character of the password. How can I reach it? Password char@ 0. I'm using char@ 0 because I am planning to work with char and ASCII tables. So I should use char@ 0. This method returns char character. Don't forget that. Because of that, I am using it. Char@ 0. Okay. This will bring to the first character of the password. And it should be a lowercase. It should be between, it should be equal or equal or higher than Z. Oh, lower than, I'm sorry, it should be equal or higher than A. And password char@ 0 should be lower or equal to Z. If that's correct, I will write something. But I'm trying to find false situations, right? If it is correct, I need to put a symbol somewhere. If it is correct, I will say, oh, this is correct. Another plus, this is also correct. This is also correct. If I have 3 plus, I have 3 conditions. If all conditions are plus, I will say, okay, this password is good. If they are not, I will say, repeat the process. Please ask user to enter a new condition, a new password. What I'm doing there, if it is right, I need to a plus. Let's create a flag and let's put the symbol there. I will create a flag between the while loop, before the while loop. It will be integer flag. It will be equal to 0. Okay, if this is right, I am putting a symbol here, flag plus plus. Okay, now I have checked the first condition. Second one. Of course, if it is not, I need to write an error message, else. So first character should be lowercase. If everything is correct, it will increase the flag value. I'm putting a symbol here. I'm just putting a mark. Okay, this is right. To remember, I will check it after checking everything. If there are 3 of them, 3 marks here, it means everything is correct. If it is not correct, it will print this. Then for the second one, last character of the password should be a number. Okay. If somehow I should be able to reach the last character, it's very easy. Password is string. We can use the length, and length -1 is the last character's index number. I will use that in index char@ 0 method. Password char@ password length, not that one. Length -1. It should be higher than 0 or equal. But don't forget to set it like this. 0, we are not talking about the number 0. We are talking about the value of 0 at the ASCII table. It's very important. Because of that, you should use single quotes here. It means this 0 is not the number 0. It is the char 0. And at the same time, it should be smaller than 9. I will write same thing, password, char, not that one, sorry. Chart, password, length, -1. And it should be smaller than or equal to char 9. Char 9, it sounds good. As long as password's last character, this is the password chart, and we are going to write an index here. And password length -1 is the last character's index value. If we have entered 3 characters in the password, length is 3, -1 is 2. Let me show it. Let's say this is the password 013. I'm trying to reach the last character's index number. The length is 3. How can I reach 2? Of course, length -1 will take me to the 2. So we have if condition. If it is correct, I had a flag, I have increased the value by 1 of the flag. I will increase it another. I will put another symbol here. Let's put our symbol flag ++. Else we will print another message. So last character of the password should blah blah. Okay, the last one. We need to check the lag. This is the easiest part, I think. If password's length is smaller than 8, and we will accept the 8. 8 will be correct. Oh, we are checking the 3 conditions, right? If it is higher or equal to 8, we will increase the value by 1. Because I am checking the conditions. If it is true, I will put another mark here. Oh, I can see 3 marks. Perfect. My password is valid. Otherwise, it won't be valid. Keep that in mind. Oh, let's write the error message. Oh, flag ++, else. So if it is not higher or equal to 8, the length, I mean, it will print this password. Okay, I told you that we should check this. We haven't done anything about this. If conditions are not met, we should make it, we should change it, right? If the flag equals to 3, if it is 3, it means everything is right. I will write everything is okay. I will write this. Where is it? Your password, blah, blah. So in this kind of situation, loop should end, right? We shouldn't ask password again. How can I do that? To stop the loop, I should make this one false. It is right. I don't want it to be continued anymore. I should make this its password valid false. Don't worry about the name. This password valid will be false. To stop the loop. Good. Condition should be should be false. Otherwise, look, if it is true, loop will continue. Else, let's make it true. This password wallet will be true. I know this seems a little confusing. We are using a wrong logic here, but don't worry. Let's say Boolean can be only true or false, and I'm using it how I want. To stop the loop, the condition should be false. As long as it is true, loop will continue. And if all the flags are true, if all the conditions are true, for each condition, we will increase the value by 1. And at the end, flags value will be 3. And if all of them are correct, it will be 3. Otherwise, it won't be. But there's a problem here. Still, yes, always we have a problem. The problem is, when let's say we have the 2 conditions are met and the flags value is 2. When the loop starts from beginning, the flag value will be still 2 at the second loop. And if one more of them is true, it will pass. I mean, each time when we're starting the loop, we should reassign it to 0. Like value should be 0. Otherwise, I won't be able to check all the conditions again. To check all conditions, each time we should reassign flag to 0. Otherwise, we will always increase the value of flag to 4, 6. To prevent that problem, we should reassign it to 0. Okay, now we will look at this question as a tester, and I will try to find a bug here. Each time, I should think what can go wrong. Let's try this part. I will run it. I hope the logic is through. Please enter your password. The first condition, what was it? First condition, a lowercase, okay. Oh, this is a correct one. If I change the first letter to a capital, oh, it says first character of the password should be a lowercase, last character of the password should be a number. If I enter a long one, a short one, okay. Again, as you can see, another option has appeared here. At least there should be 8 characters in the password. Looking good, it's working. Okay, first character is a capital and a lot of. It says first character should be lowercase, last character should be a password number. Okay, lowercase, a lot of font, a lot of number, another lowercase. Last character should be a number. It seems like it's working. If I write it like this, a short one, last character of number password. At least there's, oh, okay. It should, what happens is a password symbol here. It's the first character. Does it work? No, first character should be a lowercase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there are 8 characters. If I enter a long one, last character should be a number. So it seems like it's working. Even though I enter very long. Oh, here, first character of the password should be lowercase. It did not accept this symbol. Interesting. If it was like this, oh, as you can see, I think we found a bug here. But the bug comes from me. I shouldn't have used Turkish characters. Let me check the ASCII table and let's see what the number this character has. Okay, let's open a few of them. Oh, not that much. They are very small. This one is enough. I think it seems like 30. Where is the Turkish character? Can you see it? No, I cannot. It is not included here. Bigger? No, not here. I believe I couldn't be able to find that. Perhaps it is somewhere here. As you can see, it should be somewhere here. Oh, let's print its character. Just I want to print the value of it. Start. Plus 0. When I do it like this, it should act like a number. Oh, it's a very big one. 351. Do we have that kind of number here? No. No. So this is not included in the ASCII tables. It's a very big number. Does it continue? No. So it has been added to that chart after a long time. Let's delete this part. We saw the value. Okay, but our application is working without any problem. Let's go back to the slide and see what they have done here. Here, they have solved the problem by using a different approach. As I told you, I wanted to check each condition separately. But here, each condition is connected with the previous one. If this is true, this one will be checked. But if this is false, even though last character is not a number, even though not last character is not a number, it won't print this error message because at first it was false. It did not. If the first one is true, it won't check the others. If the first one is true, the else conditions will not be checked. If all of them are true, all of them are false, else code will be executed and it will print your password has been successfully saved and this password will be true. And this is a different approach. I prefer mine. I think it's better. Okay, we have a lot of different questions here. Let's try to solve a question. Ask the user for a number and power he wants to calculate. Create a method that calculates and prints the desired power of the given number using while loop. Okay, that's an interesting question. Let's solve this one. I will find it again. Oh, here it is. Where are we? Okay. Where is it? Here. C07 while loop questions. While loop questions. Main method and the question. It's a long one. Ask user for a number and the power he wants to calculate. Okay. Create method that calculates prints the desired power given number. Okay. We are going to use while. Let's try to understand. Before everything, we should be able to solve the question in our mind, and we will follow similar steps. First, we will take a number 2 and the power 3. This is the question. I should be able to calculate it. 8. Okay. How did I calculate it? I put 3 numbers altogether, and I did the calculation, and it is 8. How can I do that? I need to multiply the number by itself twice, right? Okay. The condition. I will receive those numbers, and I need to use while loop to solve it. What should I write here in the loop? I need to repeat the same function 3 times. The numbers should be calculated. I will multiply the same number by itself 3 times. In the loop, we can write number will multiply by itself. Or I need a result, right? To calculate the solution. Each time, a result will be, I will multiply it by 2 here. And let's say result is equal at first. When I do it, if I can 3 times execute this, result is 1, I will multiply it by 2. I will again multiply it by 2. I will again multiply it by 2, 3 times. As long as the number user entered is higher than 0. 3, 2, 1. It will be executed. This is the logic. Result should be 1 because I will try to calculate the result by multiplying it by the number user enters here. Then at the end, when we multiply it 3 times as user entered here, the result will be calculated, and at the end we can print the value. If we did understand this logic, let's try to solve it. First step, we need to take numbers from user. For that, we need scanner, of course. New scanner system .in. Okay. We are going to take them here, right? Before the method call. So let's take them. Integer number will be taken from user. But we should inform user what we are asking for. So please enter the number. Then I need to receive power. Enter the power. Integer power. Okay, we have all the numbers we require. I need to create a method to calculate the result. How do we create the method? It should be outside of any method and inside of the class. So just go at the end of the main method here. When you double click here, it marks the place of the method. I will create some place for me. I will create the method. Public static comes from. Then you should write a return type. If you only want to print the result, you should write void. Let's say we want to print it. The name of the method can be power. In this method, I am planning to use two numbers, right? In this, we are planning to use two numbers. Power and the number itself. Number and the power. Okay, I need to create a gate for each one of them. Integer number and integer power. Now I have the gate I want. The number will be taken here and it will come here. The power will come here. The critical point here, we need to write the while loop. And what was the condition? As long as power is higher than 0. And in the loop, for each time, I need to decrease the power by 1. So let's create the result here. We need a result. It will be equal to 1 at first. It will be integer. And if you remember, each time I will multiply result by the number. A result will be equal. Let's write it like this: result times number. What have I done here? I know that I will be using a result variable to calculate the result. And as long as power is higher than 0, the loop will continue. Now let's write the numbers. Number is 2. And I want to calculate power 3. I need to multiply 2 by itself 3 times. At first, result is 1, power is 3. Let's check the numbers. I want to multiply 2 by itself 3 times. It will be calculated once, twice, and when it comes, when power becomes 0, it won't be calculated again. It is 3 times. If we cannot find the right answer, we can always check it. At the end, let's print the result. Solve result. It should work. If it does not, we will check it again. Oh, not that. It is 2, power is 3. The result is not here. You know, I made the same mistake. We have created the method, but we did not call it. To use a method, you need to call it. To call it, you need to write the name of the method, and you should send the values. I want to send number and power here. Number will come here, power will come here, and from there, by the method call, they will be transferred to the method, and according to method, they will be calculated. Let's run it. Two, 3, 8. It's working. Let me add this letter 2. When I enter 2 here, the number is 2. Result is 1 at first. And the first one, result will be 2. And we will increase the power and it will become 2. It was 3, now it is 2. In the second loop, result value is 2. We have calculated it in the previous loop. And again, I am trying to multiply it by another 2. It will become 4. When we come here, the power will be 1. This time, result is 4. and I am again multiplying it by another 2, and the result will be 6, and power will become 0. This will be false, and loop will end. And system will print the result. It is 8, as you can see. I hope this is a good question. We have touched the creation of the method topic, and also we have used a while loop here. At first, it may be hard for you to create this kind of logics. Don't forget, in time, you will be able to create it. But you have to solve all these questions yourself. Otherwise, it won't help. Just watching the videos will not help you. You have to touch your keyboard with your mouse to write all these codes yourself. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand them. Believe me, writing the code is the best way of learning it. If you write them, you will understand what I mean. Let's try to solve another question. Okay, find the sum of the digits of the number you received from user using while loop. Okay, this is a good question. We have solved this question by using the for I loop. We can also solve this question by using while loop. I will copy it from here. New CO8 while loop question, main method, and the question. Let's create the integer. Number will be a long number. If you calculate the sum of digits, 11, 15, 24, 33, 39. I hope it's right. I will check it. So, how can I calculate the number of digits? You know, by using our eyes, it's very easy to calculate some of those digits, but somehow I should be able to do it by coding. You know, we will use, when we divide the number by 10, the remainder will be last digit. Let's say 27, when I divide it by 10, the rest of them 20, and the 7 will be here. This will be always the last digit. This is the first logic. The second logic, 21, 7. Okay, I could be able to reach the 7. How can I reach the 2? I will divide it by 10 and reassign it to another integer. When I divide it by 10, it becomes 2.7. And when I try to assign it to integer, you know, integers cannot store decimals. It will be like deleting the decimal part. Integer will be 2. And again, I will follow this instruction, this process, until I reach 0. Because when I divide 20.7 again by 0, and I assign it to an integer, the integer value will be 0. Let's see, there is none, and it will be, the result will be something, but the number is 0, as you can see, 0.29, but when we assign it to an integer, it will be still 0. I have explained this logic before, I believe 2 times, so I'm not going to talk about it much. Okay, this is the number. We are going to calculate the sum of digits. What do we need here? We need a digit value, integer digit value. It will be anything at first. Let's say 0. And I also need a sum of digits to calculate. I will assign it to sum of the digits there, sum of digits, and it should start from 0. We have everything. We have number and we have the conditions. And so we have the digit value and sum of digits. So somehow I'm planning to use while loop here. How can I set a condition? You know, in the while loop, I should set a condition. If you remember the logic, we will divide the number by 10 to reach the last digit. And each time we will assign it to integer. And this number, the last digit is 7. And the last number will be 500. Let me write it, 4987. When I divide it by 10 and reassign it to integer, I will get rid of this part and it will be 498. Then when I divide it by 10, I can reach the 8 by using the modulus. And again, at the end, there will be a number like this, 0, 6. When I try to assign it integer, this number will be 0 because integer cannot accept decimals. This is the ending condition. As long as number is not equal to 0, loop will continue. Loop should continue because it means there is another digit there. Okay. While number is not equal to 0. As long as number is not 0, it means there is another digit to calculate. Okay. How can I do that? First, I need to calculate last digit's value by using the modulus 10 equals to number modulus 10. And now I have the 7. I need to add it to sum of digits. Sum of digits equals to sum of digits plus digit value. Okay, I got it. I have calculated the last digit. Now I should get rid of this decimal unit. That's very easy. Just divide the number by 10 and reassign it to itself. Number is equal to number divided by 10. It should work. When a number becomes 0, it means we have calculated all the digits. Let's print the sum of digits. So, sum of digits. It should work. Oh, it did. Perfect. It equals to the first number I have entered. Okay, thank you very much. That's the last one. Basically, if you know how many times we want to execute the loop, we should use for I loop. And if you are planning to use index structure of anything, you may prefer using for I loop. But if you don't know how many times we want to execute same loop, we can use while loop. That's all. That's the biggest difference between them. If you know how many times, use for I loop. If you don't know how many times you are going to execute the loop, use while loop. That's for now, but we will increase the number of the loops. Don't worry, in the future, everything will be clear. Don't forget to repeat the codes. You have to write them yourself. Otherwise, all will be meaningless. Thank you very much. We will continue on Wednesday. I have another lesson on Monday and Thursday. and we will continue on Wednesday. Thank you very much. Good night, wherever you are.